Hey everybody, welcome back to 3MG TV. If you watched the last video, we meant to talk about jazz, but we got on the Blues Fest. I'm here with Harry Larry, in Harry Larry Land, his house and studio, and castle to creativity. And my question is, how did you get into jazz? Because I find that it can be hard to jump into it. Like in academics, you get jazz as a bit of a classical sort of exercise where every part's written out. And that's not really the fun combo that your sort of young jazz enthusiast might aspire to be in. So, how do you bridge the gap from whatever you may play to Art Tatum?
Okay. I was lucky two ways. One, I was raised at the right time. I went to high school in the 60s, and we had just gone through one of the most famous periods in all of jazz, an era called the 50s. And my brother, who was in college at the time, was a jazz fan, so I had all of his records to listen to. This is back in the day when records were LPs, and they were big like that, and they had, on that big thing, about a half hour of music. Some jazz records pushed the limit up to 40 minutes, but so that's where I would recommend anyone start, because that's where I started and it worked for me. Listen to Miles Davis, listen to Thelonious Monk, listen to Stan Getz and Chet Baker.
So you're saying try to find the original versions of these songs that we now call standards, rather than the sort of next stage of virtuoso type players doing them.
Yeah, I highly recommend that everybody listen to jazz bands that are playing now. And some of them play in that style, the 50s and 60s jazz. Some of them play styles that are post-60s, like fusion, 60s or post-60s, fusion jazz or free jazz, avant-garde. There's 1,000 different schools, third wave. But the most accessible, Miles Davis's Kind of Blue, Miles Davis's Sketches of Spain. Those are albums that anyone can put on, even if you're only used to listening to music in the background, and you will love them. And there are also albums that you can bore into with all of your ear and all of your intellect and never get tired of.
Right, but there's something that a person could comprehend. Because a thing that I always found was hard with jazz is that you may like to hear, an easy standard like All of Me.
Mm-hmm.
But then you go out and catch some guys playing it that are really good and really advanced, or maybe guys on YouTube that are well known and really advanced, and they play it at 1,000,000 miles an hour with all kinds of complicated chords added in. That can be very daunting to sort of your new jazz person.
Yeah. So I could add to that list Cannonball Adderley. His band really played a lot of really accessible stuff, great stuff, songs that are still being played today. Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers, really fine group, and many jazz musicians started with Art Blakey and then went off to their own careers and became famous in their own right. So not only do you get to listen to the Art Blakey, but if you like that saxophone player or that trumpet player, then on you go and listen to their stuff. Also, Modern Jazz Quartet, very listenable band that really extended what jazz could be at the time. And after you learn to like some of that, then you listen to some more contemporary stuff, and some of it you'll like and some of it you won't. Just like in the 50s and 60s, some of it you liked and some of it you didn't. But all of the stuff that I mentioned is the stuff that's past the test of time. It's all here forever. It's never going away because it's that good.
Sure. So I mean, the big takeaway from this for anybody that's trying to get into jazz is you have to build some kind of database of music that you know and appreciate that is jazz of some sort.
Yes.
I mean, you can't listen to one country song and then know all of country music, or one blues song and know all of blues music. Even in that case, some people might try to say that you can. That's just not the case at all.
Not at all. And even less so with jazz, because there's so much variety in jazz music, all the way from like Memphis sound, Booker T and the MGs. It's that borderline between R&B and jazz, you know.
Well, and just the nuts and bolts musicality of it is so varied that, you know, as you learn these songs, you'll figure out that a whole bunch of them have a bridge that goes to a diminished third and then descends to a 2/5 turnaround, and that'll be the bridge to however many.
Yeah.
You know, those are the kind of things that in the first 10 that you learn, it'll be, wow, what a weird part, and then you'll find that that's just a trope of the genre.
Exactly.
And it's that kind of database building that you have to do with music like Larry's mentioned to get started and to get into it and then to get better.
Yeah. And the one more thing I'll add to that is that there's listening and there's active listening. And you should listen first. That is, you put that jazz CD on and you let it play in the background while you're going about your daily
Just try to
stuff.
like it.
Just have it there and be part of the environment for a while. And then if you say, hey, I kind of like this one, then spend a little time with it. Sit down and just really concentrate on what you're hearing. Concentrate on what Miles is doing or what Thelonious Monk is doing, and why are you liking that? What is it? The tone? Almost always the tone is very important. The melody is important. Is the change something you can follow, or is it, like you said, so many contemporary jazz people, you listen to the song and you're still not sure what song it is they play.
Right. Well, there's Larry helping us out, helping you out to get into jazz and to be able to play this music that I don't think enough people are even participating in.